Welcome to Learning Objective 3. In this chapter, we will be learning how to compute the equivalent units of production. Let's do this. Equivalent unit of production measures the work done during the period expressed in fully completed units. So in other words, it refers to the number of whole units that could have been produced during the period in terms of cost incurred. So for example, the cost that is associated with 10 donuts that are 50% complete is equivalent to the cost associated with 5 donuts that are 100% complete. And then we also have another example in the next slide. But note that companies use this to measure or to determine the cost per unit of completed product. The cost per unit of completed product. All right, so an illustration which you can find in your textbook. It says, suppose you work in the office of your college president and she asks you to compute the cost of instruction per full-time equivalent student at your college. The college vice president for finance provides the following information. The total cost of instruction is 9 million. Student population, so we have full-time students to be 900, and then part-time students are 1,000. Part-time student takes 60% of the class of a full-time student during the year to compute the number of full-time equivalent students per year. So they want us to compute the cost of full-time student equivalent per year. All right, so part-time students take 60% of the class of a full-time student during the year. So to compute the number of full-time equivalent student per year, we're going to add the full-time student, which is 900, and then 60% of the part-time, because 60% of that part-time is equivalent to full-time students. Okay, so 60% of 1,000 should give you 600, plus your 900 should give you 1,500. So 1,500 full-time equivalent students. Okay, now that we have the cost number of full-time equivalent students, it will be easy for us to find the cost per year. So total cost of instruction is 9 million. Divide that by 1,500. That gives you 6,000 for cost per year. Now, the weighted average method is one of the methods that can be used to compute the equivalent unit of production. It is a method that is widely recognized and widely used. The equation to compute the equivalent unit of production, this is just the basic equation, is units completed and transferred out. So it's either transferred out from the baking, from the machine department to the assembly department. So it's completed in the machine and transferred out to another department, or transferred out to finished goods, plus equivalent units of ending work in process. All right, that gives you the equivalent units of production. Now, this is an example. The entire output of Solvang Company's blending department consists of ending work in process of 4,000 units, which are 60% complete as to material, labor, and overhead. Okay, so for completed is 0. We don't have anything completed. The work in process is 4,000, but 60% is the equivalent, right? So 60% of 4,000 is 2,400. So our equivalent units of production is what? 2,400. Now, building up from the equation that we saw in the last two slides, to calculate the equivalent unit, sometimes material costs and conversion costs do not occur in the same process and may not always be complete, 100% complete. So there are times whereby material will be 100% complete and conversion cost is going to be like 50 or 60% complete. Now, when this is the case, we will have to compute separate units cost for materials and separate unit cost for conversion. Now, what is conversion cost? Conversion cost is the sum of labor cost and manufacturer's overhead. Okay, and we're going to see this in an example with Sylvia Company in their processing department. So from the question here, we see that work in process beginning was 2,500, material was 100%, and conversion was 80% at the beginning. Started into production was 4,500, total units produced was 7,000. The units transferred out is 6,000. And definitely our ending work in process is going to be what? 1,000. But the ending work in process, the material is 100% complete. Conversion is 60% complete. Now, if we know unit transferred out is always 100%, whether it's for material or for conversion, because it's finished, it's transferred out, it's 100% complete. Our working process, usually if you have a question, they're going to tell you what percentage of that ending working process is completed. Okay, so let's say I will solve it on the next slide. The two equivalent units computation are as follows. So we're going to do equivalent units for material and equivalent units for conversion cost. Unit transferred out is 6,000, 100% for material and 100% for conversion costs. Work in process ending for 1,000 for material, 1,000 is 100% complete, so that's 1,000. For the conversion cost is 60% complete, so 60% of the 1,000, that gives us 600. Our total equivalent unit for material is 7,000, and our equivalent unit for conversion cost is 6,600. Okay. All right, we're going to do this question together. Again, I always want you to pause, use the example from the last slide to answer this question, see how you do, and come back, to see how I solve the question and see where you are missing it. If you have questions, again, you can always reach out to me. I am always happy to answer your questions. Okay. All right, the smelting department of Kina Company has the following production data for November. They want us to compute the units of production. Beginning work in process is 2,000 units that are 100% complete as to material and 20% complete as to conversion costs. Unit transferred out is 9,000 units, and ending work in process is 7,000 units that are 100% complete as to material and 40% complete as to conversion cost. So usually we don't care much about the beginning work in process. What we're concerned about is the units transferred out and the ending work in process. Okay, so here I have my material cost and conversion costs. All right, so units transferred out, we said those ones are always 100% because they're done and completed, they're gone out. Okay, so it's definitely complete before they're sent out. So that's 9,000. And then work in process for November 31st as to material, I have it to be 100% complete per the question. And then for conversion cost again is your labor cost plus your manufacturing overhead. And here we are told that it's 40% complete. 40% of the 7,000 should give you 2,800. When we add cost of equivalent unit for material is 60,000, and cost for conversion cost is 11,000, and that ends up for number 1. I hope we got the same thing. Let me know. All right, this next question says the assembly department for Wright Pen has the following production data for the current month. Beginning work in process, we have it at 0. Again, we're not really concerned about that for this question. All we need to know is what was transferred out and what percent is always 100%. And our ending work in process for materials and for conversion. Okay, so let's do this. So I have my materials and conversion, and then units transferred out. So I told you that your unit transferred out is always going to be 100%. Just finish and done. Our work in process for material, I have it to be 10,000 per the question, and our conversion is how many percent? So that is going to be 7,000. So in total, 30,000 equivalent units for material, and then 27,000 equivalent units for conversion. And that brings us to the end of the slide. In this video, we were able to go through the calculation of equivalent units of production. We explained what it meant and how to compute it. In the next video, we will look into production cost report. See you then.